Hello, and welcome to the MJSD Chronicles. This will be an ongoing series that, if I decide to continue, will be very much I don't fucking know. Alright, let's just begin. Chapter 1. On a breezy Monday morning in late April, Zekin's 5th grade classroom at Maple Oak Elementary buzzed with excited chatter. School was reaching the final stretch before summer vacation, and everyone could feel it in the air. The promise of sunshine, the rush of finishing final projects, and a parade of jokes that grew more ridiculous by the day. The moment one walked into Zekin's class, they would spot a jumble of misfits huddled around a set of slightly outdated Windows computers in the back corner. This group always seemed to be in the middle of banter, sometimes about Overwatch 2, other times about Michael Jackson's lesser-known songs, or even about random comedic nonsense. Nobody quite knew how such an eclectic bunch ended up together, but they stuck like glue. In the center of the group was Motif, the eldest at 11. He had an oddly calming presence, yet he spoke in a Kermit the Frog-like voice that was strangely contagious. If he said something was correct, the rest usually believed him. Even though Motif was known to make fun of others lightly, particularly Ender's questionable music hooks, he still earned respect by being the best Overwatch 2 player among them. He mained Sigma, always tossing up shield barriers and gravitational fluxes to carry the team. Near Motif was Nop, a 10-year-old from England who exuded a permanently grumpy aura. Despite the perpetual scowl, Snop had a quick wit and would break into a grin at anything he found remotely funny. With his Brighton accent, he would occasionally pronounce words in a way that would amuse the rest.
"Someone call the ambulance,"
he'd cry, referencing a voice line from his favorite Overwatch hero. He was borderline obsessed with the Swiss medic, and the group teased him for his obsession. Next to Snop, you might find Goku, another 10-year-old whose energy shifted erratically between silly jokes and embarrassing stunts. He was widely teased for gay jokes he had once made towards Snop, thus spawning non-stop ribbing about whether he was truly into Snop. "I was playing," Goku would protest, though it never fully quelled the accusations. Nevertheless, the two were best friends and had each other's backs when it mattered. Goku was notorious for messing up his first Overwatch match so spectacularly, he played Reaper and let the entire team die while he shot from far away in vain. That he'd never touched the game since. In the same cluster was a 4-year-old phenomenon named Ender. Yes, 4. He was notoriously small, with short brown hair and a determined glint in his eye. Ender had tested into 5th grade, making him the classroom enigma. Everyone teased him, calling him infant, fetus, mid, and all manner of symptoms for "you are too young." Yet, Ender could hold his own. When it came to comebacks, he could cook sometimes. Although stuck in Bronze 3 in Overwatch 2, Ender dreamed that someday he'd carry the entire team. The others couldn't help but snicker. To top it off, Ender was obsessed with the later Michael Jackson albums, particularly the track Hollywood Tonight, which he swore was superior to Billie Jean. He also tried his hand at music production, churning out songs with questionable titles, like D.I.E., Die, The Future, Beatbox 2010, and I Love You More. His hooks were often panned by the group, but Ender refused to accept any slander, as he called it. He also had a comedic romance with Overwatch hero Mei, the adorable ice-themed Chinese scientist. Within earshot, but not always in the core circle, was Rodney, nicknamed Cardi's Feet for reasons nobody quite remembered. He was an African-American 10-year-old who could be absolutely silent for hours, then suddenly blurt out the strangest jokes like "she jerkin' on my rod till I rampage," a bizarre reference to Rodney Jerkins, the producer of Michael Jackson's Invincible album, and a rumored unreleased track titled Rampage. Rodney rarely played Overwatch, but did love remixing Get Your Weight Off of Me. Another friend, Sapt, was a quiet yet witty 10-year-old who often tagged along with Motif. He played the Overwatch hero named Juno. Sapt frequently collaborated with Ender on music, despite also making fun of Ender's skill level in the game. He was the type who'd one-up Ender's singing attempts with a random quip like 1,500 dead in Chicago, a phrase that made no real sense but sounded so outrageous people would giggle anyway. There was also Tape, the so-called archive, who collected all the group's tracks. If you wandered by him, you would most likely see a portable USB drive or external hard drive sticking out of his pocket. He mostly kept quiet, but would occasionally unleash a barrage of jokes reminiscent of Sapt's style. Tape never touched Overwatch, but he recorded everything. He would often be called Empty Vault or Tape Flop for not having any actual rares of value. Sylve, a slender white girl with dark brown hair, occasionally popped up to poke fun at the guys. She didn't really care for Overwatch, but she was gradually forming a friendship and eventual crush with Sapt. Meanwhile, another girl named Inky, 9 years old with blonde hair, played Overwatch on her Nintendo Switch badly. She mainly liked Widowmaker, but never landed her shots. She acted a bit clingy toward Ender, greeting him every morning with a sunny hi that nobody else received. On the adult side of things, there was Helper, an 18-year-old teacher's aide, who sometimes hung out with the kids at lunch. He was a devoted fan of Jason Malachi, the rumored singer of 3 suspicious Michael Jackson tracks on the Michael album. And then there was Zekon, the actual teacher, a quiet champion for Michael Jackson History Tour. He'd field random questions like, Mr. Zekon, is the bass in Thriller from the ARP 2600 or Jupiter 8? With fervent explanations, actually, kids, it's a Jupiter 8, not an ARP 2600. RME was a shadow among them, a sweet kid who never made fun of anyone. He was so pleasant that even the biggest teasers in the group spared him. He'd join Overwatch matches as a random hero, not caring if he lost, always cheering, "Good job, guys," in his wholesome British accent. There was also Leigh Shimon, Ender's best friend, a talented singer who admired Michael Jackson's more obscure works. He dreamed of playing Overwatch alongside Ender someday, but his family's financial situation hadn't allowed him a proper computer. Still, his unwavering optimism reminded Ender that greatness could be achieved no matter how mid he currently was. Finally, Mixer, one of the more aloof members of the class, occasionally drifted in to produce music. He constantly labeled Ender's work as mid or mediocre. While it wasn't outright hatred, it did put him at odds with Ender from time to time. Like any good story, a shadowy figure loomed on the horizon. He wasn't in the classroom at all, but his name was on everyone's lips in hush-hush corners of the internet. A mysterious traitor known as Cortex had a reputation for hoarding rare, unreleased Michael Jackson tracks and Overwatch-related promotional files. Thank you for listening to Chapter 1.